Hey, g'day. Bugger. One sec. Right. I've been rushing around this morning. Left it to the last minute to think to set up to chat with Matt. Hello, this is Chat with Matt, and it is the 17th of March 2021. I'm not at home. I'm at my mother-in-law's place in Mapua, which is between Nelson and Motueka on the top of the South Island of New Zealand. We've got a retreat starting tomorrow, so that's why we're down here. We're checking out the retreat venue last night and just meeting with our hosts who run the venue, checking out the hot tub as I posted and a few other things, and today we're going back and doing a few more things. And basically just getting in the vibe. It's important for us to do a lot of preparation, including our energetic preparation before a retreat, so that then once we get going, all the I's and dotted and the T's are crossed, and everyone who's part of the crew helping out, the chef and the people who are running the venue and the people who run the kayak tours and all of that stuff, our shuttle drivers and everything, know what they're doing, so that we don't have to be stressed, because it's really beneficial if when you are facilitating a retreat you can be as relaxed as possible, because that vibration sets the tone for the whole retreat. So we do a lot of preparation, including our own energetic maintenance, which is why we're intending to spend a bit of time lying on a beach this afternoon as well as doing all of the running around. So then the retreat works really well, and that's the thing. Hey Sister Sam, hey Sister Jane, I think I missed, was it Christine who was on a bit earlier? Yeah, Christine, hi. The mountains behind you are incredible, but I'm a water goat. Love the mountain. Love mountains near water. Yeah, you get a lot of that in New Zealand. We have a lot of mountain ranges come close to the ocean, so it's pretty good. Wait till you see some of the footage from our kayaking that we're going to do. Apparently, we're talking to the people who do the kayak tours. They had baby seals all playing around the kayaks when they were out yesterday. And they saw a pod of 20 dolphins come quite close as well. So we're pretty excited about that, because we've got 2 kayaking trips as part of this 5-day retreat that involve sea kayaking in amongst all of the beautiful formations and that, and as well as doing some walks and water taxi trips. So you don't have to, it's not a huge big slog. We go in on a boat to the best place. My glass is filthy this morning, so that's why I'm having so much trouble. We go in on a boat to the best place, then kayak around the best places, and then walk over the best bits of walking deep in the park. So we're not having to just go from the entranceway, which is where everyone goes from. So we're basically spending a bit of money to have the best experience possible. Yeah, so it does sound amazing, and hopefully it's going to be amazing. Anyway, this is Chat with Matt, and I'm not here just to talk about what's coming up in my life, although that always comes into it, doesn't it? Because let's face it, those are the filters with which I'm viewing the world at the moment. This is my life. But we're here to answer questions and to facilitate whatever stuff you guys have got going on. And so I put on a little thing last night, and I pulled out a poster that I had sitting on my computer, which said perfection is not the end of evolution, which is an interesting concept, right? Because most of us think once something is perfect, it can't get any better. And it's just, from my perception, not the truth. My version of perfect is perfect for right now, right? It's an acceptance of right now, that this is perfect. This is perfect for right now. That doesn't mean that it can't improve in the next moment, right? So that's the point. And I put a picture of me doing a pose. It's not that hard to do, but reasonably hard to do, right? But, and I could say, wow, I did that perfectly. And I was perfectly happy with how I'd managed to do that pose right there at sunrise on a beach in Bali, actually, on the north coast, Tejukula. Just some history from late 2019, September, I believe. But it's interesting how photos hold so much energy. Hey, Sister Anne, and remind us of other times. So yeah, perfect pose. But I can look at that and go, well, I could just lift my pelt, just tip my pelt. There's improvement to happen, but that doesn't mean I need to make that any less perfect than what it was in that moment. So that is the idea of that bit of teaching, perfection is not the end of evolution. So don't be shy of allowing things to be perfect right now. Because there's a part of your ego that says, if I call this perfect right now, then this is what I'm stuck with, and I want better than this. And that's perfectly legitimate to have desires for continual improvement, continued evolution, but at the same time, allow yourself to have the satisfaction of thinking that this moment is perfect, right? Because when you call a moment perfect, there's a huge relaxation that happens. A huge weight comes off your shoulders when you declare that this moment is perfect. You can stop fighting, you can stop trying, you can stop having to mentalize how to improve, how to fix all of the potential issues, problems, challenges around you, and just go, this moment's perfect. Nothing to do. It's a huge opportunity for deep relaxation, and within that deep relaxation comes openings that allow the next moment to be even more perfect. That's the irony. When you relax into perfection, declaring a moment perfect, the next moment is much more easy to improve upon from the space of, this isn't good enough, I need to keep fighting for what I want, right? Which creates contraction, and therefore everything is harder to move energetically. So that's the teaching, right? And it's a big one. It's a big one for all of us, to allow ourselves to relax into just, this moment's perfect for right now. I don't need to fix anything right now. And at the same time, I don't let go of the deeper belief that life will continue to improve. I do have questions written in, and I'm gonna do my best to answer them right now. And you are welcome to keep keep stimulating more conversation as we go. And hopefully this is up to date, keeping up with me. Sometimes it falls behind. Okay, from Christina. I am feeling that what may help people at the moment, and no doubt me, is what to do in those times when we feel like we have become our own worst enemy. Ah, yes. When we become so blocked that we run around in mental and emotional circles and blame. Awesome. What to do in those times where we feel that we have become our own worst enemy? First of all, to remember that what you are feeling is what you are releasing. The self-critical thought, and I know this is deeper than this, but first and foremost, let's peel away the self-critical thought that I've become my own worst enemy, that judgment that I'm not doing well in this moment, this judgment that I'm failing to overcome my blocks, and that I am running around in circles, right? So pick ourselves up right there. The awareness that I'm running around in circles, the awareness that I'm in, mental and emotional blame, and stop blaming ourselves for blaming ourselves, right? Because that's important, not to beat ourselves up for beating ourselves up, and to be compassionate and to understand that practice of running around in mental and emotional circles of blame is habitual. So we can create some allowance around that first and foremost. I'm not going to declare that it's perfect, but in some ways it is, right? It's a perfect opportunity for you to step forward. So you haven't failed in that moment. This is the point, right? So what to do in the moment where we become aware that we are running around in mental and emotional circles of blame is to take a big, fat, deep breath and find some acceptance that once again we've fallen into an old habit, and that doesn't mean that we should beat ourselves up for being there. It means that we should be compassionate and understand that these habits are quite insidious, right? That they are not, it's not easy to overcome this, and society has basically not just trained us, but also perpetuates this this cycle. It encourages us to fall into self-blame. We've been trained to believe that the way to improve ourselves is to recognize problems and then fix them. So that entices us into self-critical thought, right? Because we're looking for problems with ourselves, thinking that if my life's going to get better, I need to find the problem with me and then fix it, which then encourages us to maintain this negative perception of ourselves, to always be looking for problems, to be focused on the negative, thinking that in focusing on the negative we will find the problem, and then we'll be able to logically fix the problem, and then life will get better. And for those of us who have tried that for many decades and potentially many lifetimes, realize that it doesn't work so well. It just doesn't work so well. So accepting that's a very strong program in the space right now, and then choosing to relax and trust that this own worst enemy is just basically the arising of energies that need to be released. Honey, can you turn the tap off? Yeah. So just allow yourself to, one, relax. Well, this is for everyone too. This is not just Christine, because we all do this, right? But first of all, awareness. I'm running in circles and I'm blaming myself right now. Compassionate self-hug. Right, I don't need to blame myself. This is old habits. This behavior is not me failing. This behavior is me bringing to the surface energies that need to be released. And need to be released doesn't mean, hey, Sister Michelle, I think you've written in something a bit deeper down this thread. Is that correct? No, that was Liz. That's confusing, isn't it? Liz Mitchell and Michelle both have MI to start with, and that's enough to confuse me. So yeah, compassionate self-hug, and not needing to try and fix anything right in that moment. Not needing to try and fix the issue, but to be accepting that this is an opportunity, right? This self-blame experience is not a failing, but an opportunity to relax through the process of releasing these perceptions you have over yourself, right? And releasing the deeper energies, the pains and the traumas that are beneath the mental and emotional circling, blaming mentalities, right? The deeper levels of persecution and programming that's happened through that persecution that's left you with this habit of looking for your negatives and thinking that unless you fix all of your negatives you ain't going to improve, because it's just not the truth, right? Improvement happens naturally, as I've spoken just a few minutes ago, when you basically relax into acceptance of the moment, whether you declare it as a perfect moment, which is a big acceptance of the moment, right? Or whether you just go, wow, this is a pretty shitty moment, but it's a part of a process, and I can accept that, right? To accept that this is a hard moment, but nonetheless a natural moment that's leading towards progress. And so with that level of acceptance can then come a level of relaxation, which then allows energies to shift more effectively through your field and progress to be made. Big part of the issue for most of us is that we want to prove that it's working. Right? We want to prove that the process is working, and therefore we look for evidence that it's working. And in that looking for evidence, we basically just sow the seeds of doubt. So you think, wow, I just need to relax and these energies will release. And so you practice relaxation techniques, and then you go looking for evidence that the energy is releasing, whether that be, oh, these thoughts aren't as prevalent anymore, or oh, these emotions aren't as strong as anymore, or I have some visceral feeling, I'm supposed to feel something, lift off me, or I'm supposed to feel a big jolt and it's gone, or I'm supposed to feel, an unwinding or an energetic tingling, or heat in my body or coldness in my body. You look for evidence to prove that you're doing it right. And in that desire to find evidence, in that desire, that search for evidence, you're basically always doubting whether it's happening. And if you just don't need evidence, and if you just go, what I'm feeling is what I'm releasing, these thoughts that I'm having is what I'm releasing, and you're just happy with that declaration, I'm choosing to believe that this is releasing. And if you're happy with that, and you don't need any evidence, then you're sweet, right? Then you're good to go. Then the releasing process is just happening behind the scenes, and you are basically happy in that moment. You don't need to find evidence to justify your relaxation. You're just choosing to relax, and you're happy in that choice. You are happy in that choice. You don't need to prove that you've got it right before you can justify being happy, right? Because a lot of us equate happiness with the satisfaction of doing things right. Right? That's when we're allowed to have happiness. Happiness is like a reward that comes when we get something right, when we achieve something. And so we always go looking for achievements so that we can justify happiness. But what if achievements happy after you become happy? Right? What if it's your divine right to be happy right now? And the more that you just choose to claim your divine right to be happy, that all of those achievements that you think you need to have to justify your happiness will just happen naturally, because you are now vibrating in a frequency that attracts those outcomes to you, rather than fighting to get those outcomes through all of the density, so that then you can lift your vibration with satisfaction into a form of happiness that only is very fleeting, because before you know it, you've had your reward, right? It's like when you get a piece of chocolate cake, you think, wow, a reward, but before you know it, it's gone and it's finished, and it's like, well, what's next, right? I need to go looking for the next reward. So this perpetuation of needing proof to justify the reward of giving yourself happiness, it's a mug's game, right? It's a never-ending circle that's perpetuates hard work and suffering. So Christine wrote, oh yes, looking for proof, that's done so often, and then always self-blame that we aren't good enough. And there is, let's see if I can get this Seymour to work, and there is no proof that I'm not good enough, and round in circles we go. Exactly. So recognizing that this is a habit that we've been indoctrinated into very deliberately by a dark agenda, right? First and foremost, and that it plays on natural survival instincts in any mammalian mammalian mammal, right? That we are as humans. We have the biology of a mammal, and a herd mammal at that, and so we have certain biological things. We also have things left over, in the reptilian brain, but whatever. The point being that these things are not easy. It's not easy to change. It's not complicated, but it's also, these habits are quite ingrained. So we have to be compassionate with ourselves as we keep stepping through the various layers of disentangling this stuff, and just being okay with the fact that it's going to take time. It's going to take time. Hopefully I'm helping, Sister Christina. Hopefully I'm helping. So yeah, let go of just needing proof. So and let go of needing proof again is not a challenge that every time you go looking for proof that you failed. It's like, no, that's what humans do. So we're human and we're going to go looking for proof, but every time we catch ourselves looking for proof, just go, I don't need to do that, right? And that's it. That's the end of the conversation. We don't need to beat ourselves up every time we start doing it again. We just accept that, oh, I'm doing that thing again that I know doesn't actually help me. And so I'm at choice again. And every time we come to that choice point, we get to reinforce the choices that we're making. And it's a slow, steady progression that can have quantum steps of improvement. But by and large, the more that we can accept that it's a slow, steady progression, that quite often we look like we're going backwards, even though we're not, right? It looks like we're going backwards. And that's okay. Okay. How am I going for time? 10 minutes left. A bit longer because I was late getting on. But anyway, we always tend to go over time. I'm going to jump ahead now. I don't really have much to say to Zena, who basically just declared that crow pose is her challenge. It's a, as far as challenges go, that's a pretty first world problem. Isn't it great when we can have a challenge to do something that's exciting and a step forward rather than a survival need? So that's one way of looking at it, right? And it's good. Humans need challenges. Like, we always look for challenges. It's a way of expressing ourselves in a more expansive way. So whether your challenge is to learn how to draw a face that looks more appealing to you, or whether it's to have a better relationship with your mother-in-law, or whether it's to do crow pose, humans, we love challenges, and so it's important for us to keep extending ourselves, expanding ourselves, and if we can, have challenges that we then maintain an empowered attitude with, then that's a great thing. If we have challenges that then consume us and we're not good enough until we meet those challenges, then that's not so great, right? If we're beating ourselves up because we're not succeeding with our challenges, not so good. If we're using challenges as a way to keep extending ourselves from a space of joy, the joy of expansion, then that's great. So again, challenges are not wrong. It's just how we choose to use them in our life. If we're coming from a space of love, or whether we're coming from a space of fear, whether we're coming from a space of expansion, or we're coming from a space of not good enough if I can't do this, if I can't succeed with this challenge. That's it, because so many of us get caught up in needing to meet our challenges in order to prove ourselves good, right, and proper enough to then justify being loved, being accepted, being appreciated, etc., etc. Anyway, Liz wrote in, "Hi there, Matt. Not sure if this was an invitation to ask personal questions. For me, there's no real difference between a personal question and a general question. But within the context of what I'm capable of answering, of course. But this is where it might come in. But if it was, I would love to know why I delay going to bed at night. I have no trouble sleeping. Thank you." Okay, so first thing that I'm going to say, Liz, is that I'm not an oracle, and that I don't pretend to be able to read people's energy and know exactly what the issue is for them. As a challenged channel, as a channeling challenge, what I tend to find is that as I allow myself to speak on a topic, then you will get the bits of inspiration that are going to help you. So anything that I say right now, moving forward, is not necessarily a direct read of your energy, right? That's what I want to say. So that if I say something, it's not that I believe this is the truth for you. And that's a general thing that holds true for everyone that I'm working with. Even in personal session, I don't pretend to be able to, see exactly what the issue is with you. But if I allow myself to keep talking in circles, and if we allow ourselves to have a conversation, then we tend to dig out what the issue is. And in this case, I'm not having a conversation with you because you're not here in my, I'm not on the phone with you. So please, please, please don't be offended if I say something that you don't feel is appropriate for you. But here's a range of ideas why you might be delaying going to bed. And I don't know your personal situation at all, but in general, people can delay going to bed because they don't want to be with their partner right? in that time. So they'll wait for their partner to go to sleep before they come to bed. That is quite common. I've seen this multiple times with many people. And again, I'm saying that might not be your issue, but I'm talking about this in general for why people might delay going to bed, even if they're tired. This can be habitual, and it might not be just not wanting intimacy. It can be a range of things that that time of night implies or has implied in the past, and the past could be past lifetimes as well. So there might be some resistance to spending awake time in bed with a partner. That's one thing that can delay people going to bed at night. Other things that can delay you going to bed is generally an excitement of not wanting to miss out on whatever's going on in your life. Some people have connotations, again, they can be deeply programmed connotations that sleeping is somehow a waste of time, and that you need to keep working towards. It can be a form of stress that you think you need to keep working or keep researching or keep reading about, or you have some sort of fascination with something, and it can be just habitual, and that can manifest as like habitually scrolling social media before you go to bed, thinking, oh yeah, I should go to bed now, but you just keep in this habit of wanting to see what else is happening, what else is happening, what else is happening, what else is happening, right? This habit of wanting to get all of the information. You could be fascinated with reading a book, which is also similar, or binge watching. Netflix can be the same, right? It doesn't need to be social media. It doesn't need to be computer. It could be researching stuff that you're just doing and you're into. You're generally into it, but there's also there can also be lines of addiction based in fear, right? That we need to know this stuff, as opposed to genuinely excited by stuff. Sometimes the research is coming from genuine excitement. Sometimes it is coming from fear that if I don't get all of my ducks in a row, this isn't going to happen for me, right? So research can come in multiple ways. So it really depends on what you're spending your time doing before you go to bed, for me to get a good read on that. So generally there'll be a reason why you are delaying going to bed. And if you ask yourself the honest question, you will no doubt get the answer. So the ways to figure out these answers for yourself is to basically be a little bit inquiring and to look at what you're spending your time doing, how you're feeling when you're doing that time, and potentially what you might be avoiding, what you might be scared of in going to bed earlier. Yeah. There can be other factors as well, biorhythm factors. Potentially you have no problem going. Potentially it's not a problem that you delay going to bed, right? Is this really a problem, or are you just measuring yourself against some shoulds that you should go to bed earlier, right? You know, early to bed, early to rise makes a person healthy, wealthy, and wise, right? Oh, I'm not going to bed early, therefore I'm failing. Some people do much better going to bed late and sleeping a bit longer in the morning, right? It just suits their biology better. And so that's perfectly legitimate. I don't know why my camera just went so dark. I think it's having trouble with the exposure, but I'm not going to fight with it right now. So potentially it's not a problem. So that's first and foremost, I guess we should look at, is it a problem that you're going to bed later? Or is it just naturally suits you more? You might say, yeah, but I'm tired getting up in the morning and I can't do this and this and this. But do you need to do this and this and this? Or, you know, potentially you do, right? If you've, I don't, again, I can't remember your situation, so whether you're having to get kids up and get them to school, or whether you're going to have to get to work, or whatever your duties are in the morning that you might be struggling with because you're not allowing yourself to have enough hours of sleep because you're going to bed later, that you know, that's a legitimate problem. And how can we solve that? If it really doesn't suit you to go to bed earlier, maybe you need to have a nap at some time to catch up on some hours of sleep. Or maybe you actually don't need that much sleep. Maybe it's just a story that you need more sleep. Again, right, just looking at if it is actually a problem, other ways of solving it. Or potentially maybe, you know, just going to bed earlier would work for you, and we just need to look at what the issue is that is preventing you from going to bed early, so that you can work your way through it. And so not becoming problem-centric, but really, you know, ultimately moving forward with this situation from the perspective of what would serve me in the highest and best good. Sorry, I'm having to come right forward, Jane, because the screen's gone so dark. I've been feeling lots of self-loathing lately. When does it all stop? I'm not sure when it's all going to stop, Jane, but just trust that the self-loathing is what you are releasing. So again, don't be resistant to the fact that self-loathing's coming up, because that will extenuate the circumstances, that will prolong the process. If you resist, what you resist will persist. So the more that you can accept that self-loathing is coming up, and it is energies from the past, and this is an opportunity to keep moving through the process of release, the better off you're going to be. So let it come up. Recognize it for what it is. Choose not to buy into it. Do your practices to help you relax. You know, breathe, meditate, do some movement, whatever works for you. Do some knitting, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, there's no thing. But just be in acceptance that self-loathing is up, and it's not the truth of who you be. It's just energies from the past that you've been indoctrinated with, and it's come up to be released. And you don't need to prove that it's releasing. You just need to trust that it will release as you relax. and then not to go judging yourself, oh, I mustn't be relaxing enough because the self-loathing's still there. It will take as long as it takes, and the more that we can get out of expectations and the more we can get out of comparing ourselves against the expectations, the better off we're going to be. Hey, Sister Stephanie. So hopefully I've helped, Liz. Hopefully I've helped. So first and foremost, come at the problem or the experience of I'm not going to bed early and I don't know why, from a space of love, right? That it's not necessarily a problem, but it's an opportunity for you to look at how you can improve your life. You're welcome, Jane. How you can improve your life by recognizing that this is a pattern, that you stay up later than maybe you might, and that has an influence. And so then look at why you might want to go to bed earlier and what might be preventing you from doing so. Perhaps, allow yourself to spend some time meditating on that. Perhaps allow yourself to spend some time journaling on that, right? Allow yourself to do some relaxation processes, listen to some light language or whatever works for you. Then open up a page in a journal and write, why don't I go to bed earlier? And then just allow yourself to start writing. Because I enjoy watching da-da-da-da, or because I enjoy da-da-da-da, and I do this because da-da-da-da-da, and just allow yourself to come to the realizations of what's distracting you and what's taking priority over going to bed, and why that is being driven, and what is beneath that. Allow yourself to keep peeling away the layers, because at first it might be very obvious. Oh, I'm really interested in this and this and this. What is that distracting you from? Right? What is that distracting you from? Why is this? Why are you interested in that? It might be a good thing, or it might not be, right? The good thing. It might be a beneficial thing. It might be a genuine soul interest in something, or it might be a distraction from other stuff that you don't want to face, that you don't want to look at. Perhaps you could be prioritizing your time in different ways, and these habits have grown, and now they're even preventing you from going to sleep because you've just got in the habit of doing certain things that is taking time away from potential sleep time, which, who doesn't like a good sleep? Anyway, my friends, I think I might have got there, right? This might be it. So much love. I'm just trying to remember if I'm available next Wednesday. What's happening? Let me just have a quick flick on my calendar. What happens Wednesday morning? Right. I am flying Wednesday morning at 11:45. I'm not sure about Chat with Matt next week. I might have to do it earlier. I might do it later. I might have to move it a day. Or it might get skipped altogether because 11:45 flight. That means we need to leave here at... maybe I can do it before we leave. We'll just see. I'll be right on the other side of the retreat. So this is a day before the retreat. Next Wednesday will be the morning after the retreat finishes in the afternoon. So who knows what state I'll be in. Who knows what state I'll be in. But anyway, there will be lots of retreat pics. Hopefully we get some good pics and videos out in the kayaks of the seals and the dolphins and the whatnot, and people having good times. Perhaps we'll see some nice birds in the park as well. And scenery and all that good stuff. People having fun, yoga, food. Looking forward to seeing if this chef that we've got for this retreat can top the last chef, which will be a very high bar, because our last chef on the boat was very, very awesome. But anyway, you can tell where my bread's buttered. How I judge a good retreat is by the quality of the food. There's a little bit of tongue-in-cheek there, but there's a lot of truth as well. Anyway, my friends, look forward to speaking to you again soon, somewhere, somehow. We do have, coming up in like 10 days' time, we will have the full moon light language experience. I do have that in my calendar. It will be 27th, 28th, which I think is... I might have that wrong. It's actually 29th, 28th. So it'll either be Sunday afternoon, evening for the Americas and Europe, or Monday morning here in New Zealand, a bit early in Australia. But anyway, that's when the full moon will be exact, and we'll be doing a call then, but that's a little way off. I'll let you know about that next week. Anyways, much love. Bye for now. Namaste.